The character, the attitude, the confidence, winners.
Yes.
They just said second half Arsenal have come, and I thought they competed really well. The last thing I think Newcastle wanted and their fans deserved, which it could have been in the end when Newcastle were pushing forward and United had counter-attacks, they could have scored one or two more. It didn't feel like a maul-in to me, so Newcastle will go again. They'll dust themselves down. I think that'll be
the 7 for Newcastle United, again, beaten by Manchester United, and they just want to get back on the bus, get out of there, and make this as distant a memory as possible.
It came down to not a bad performance from them. It came down to a rash challenge and a super free kick from Luke Shaw and a finish from Casemiro. It came down to a deflection of Botman when Rashford took the shot. So it was a disappointing day. But it's one that you have to just learn from, and you want to get back to Wembley and keep getting back and playing in these big games. But they were tidy, very tidy in the way they approached the game. They played some nice football, but again their Achilles heel was up front, and yeah, they came up against a very resolute and well organised Manchester United side.
I imagine there's nothing anyone can say that makes you feel better.
No,
at this stage.
Absolutely nothing. No, there is no well played, unlucky.
You're not even looking at people.
No,
you're just literally.
Nothing is registering. It's regardless of how you look back on it, it hurts, and you don't shake that.
Right.
The thing for me is, and Craig started to talk about it, Bruno Guimaraes has been as important to Newcastle United as Casemiro has been for Manchester United.
Right, Newcastle players picking up their runners-up medal. Let's go to John Champion and Stuart Robson now for the trophy lift for Manchester United.
Well, hugely differing emotions for the two sets of players. We've seen Newcastle's trooping forward up the steps rather wearily to receive their commemorative medals as runners-up. But now the team captain and the club captain, Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes, lead the winners, Manchester United, forward. The outcome today, the same as the last time these clubs met in a cup final in the FA Cup of 1999 here. 2-0 to Manchester United. That was the second leg of a treble. The most optimistic and hopeful of Manchester United supporters will point to this as possibly the first leg of a quadruple. Because Manchester United still have a say in the Premier League through to the last 16 of the FA Cup and the last 16 of the Europa League. Adoring pats on the back for the players in the famous red and white of English football's highest profile club. Everything they do makes news. And so much of the news in recent years has been of a negative variety, of a failure to attain past standards. Now, Stuart Robson, there is a feeling of rejuvenation and of renaissance about this club.
Absolutely. The manager has come in, Eric Ten Hag, and he had a difficult start. Craig mentioned it, that defeat at Brentford. We thought things weren't going to go particularly well for them this season. But they've brought in some good players, but he's made the players that are at the club better. Rashford wasn't playing well last season, or for a couple of seasons. He now looks a top quality player, scoring goals. You look at some of the other players in the side that have just started to learn more about the game. Fred looks a totally different player. They're playing with confidence, even though they didn't have a lot of the ball today in that second half. You never thought Newcastle were going to get back into it, because Manchester United had a hold on the game. Their defensive understanding, their positional play, their ability on the counter-attack, you always knew that they could be a threat. So really good performance by United without being at their best, and you can feel that's coming on and on. They are a club on the up.
So first it'll be the medals. Bruno Fernandes leading the line. Casemiro, whose glancing header from a lovely Luke Shaw delivery set Manchester United on their way. Harry Maguire, the club captain, and they'll assemble in full public glare in front of the Royal Box at Wembley Stadium to await their moment of true acclamation. Manchester Manchester United will have cause to open up their trophy cabinet for the first time in 6 years. The longest drought in 4 decades is finally over. So the trophy is lifted from its plinth. Sunday, 26th of February 2023, a glory, glory day for Manchester United. A seminal day, a fresh start, and after 20 league titles, 12 FA Cups, 3 European Cups, now a 6th League Cup and a 46th major trophy. And Stuart Robson, as we watch these celebratory scenes, I wonder start. And after 20 league titles, 12 FA Cups, 3 European Cups, now a 6th League Cup and a 46th major trophy. The man who has done more than anyone else to put a smile back on the faces of this giant of a football club. Manchester United in the process of regaining their mojo, and Dan, I think it's safe to say they're back in the happy habit of acquiring trophies.
It's interesting, isn't it, boys, when you take a look at the lineup of everyone lifting the trophies, of all the mix of experience and youth that's there. You've got Varane, who's won the World Cup, Martinez won the World Cup, Casemiro's won 1 million trophies with Real Madrid, and that kind of proves that it's such an important part, I imagine, in these big matches to have that sort of experience, isn't it?
Yeah, and particularly if it still means what it seems to mean to these players. You know what I mean?
There's no complaints, there's no...
It's the League Cup, which is important, but it's not the most important competition in English football. But yet, I think these players understand that there's been problems at this club. There still are problems to be fixed, but they're certainly on the right path. And that they understand that this breeds a winning mentality. And I think Shaq mentioned it, was one of the differences in the side was that experience today.
And listen, the League Cup is a trophy I've described as icing on the cake. It on its own doesn't mean an awful lot. But for both these clubs, for very different reasons, Manchester United just kind of given that drought around major silverware, it feels a whole lot more significant this time around. It feels they build, or could build on their successes. Of course, Manchester United win it. This puts them back in that sphere. And Newcastle, just kind of given the way things have changed over the last 18 months, to get to a final, to compete, to be the better team for a lot of that final, I think you take that and you make the best of it. It says who you are. It says who you can be.
And you want to have a good night out after a fight. But you want to sell it.
There's nobody left in Newcastle.
You want to have that icing on the cake at the end of the day as a celebration.
Yeah.
Celebration of a win. You don't want to get on the bus or a flight. You go back to do. Get 2 performances, or more importantly, 2 results that they've got in the space of 4 days. I think it's a big achievement. And he can't believe himself.
Well,
Weghorst.
Yeah. He had a good game, good set up. Goal, just a nuisance, wasn't it?
I thought he led the line really well in the way he held the ball up, and of course Newcastle United have a very big rear guard themselves, so to engage Newcastle in the way that he did, I thought, again, played a part. He dropped off the line, picked the ball up, played others in. Weghorst, it's some story, but he certainly played his part in this fight.
And this is the most we've seen Ten Hag smile.
Yeah.
I think
Ever.
There's a great clip of him dancing with Anthony and Martinez as well.
Maybe he's a bit of a dark horse.